In this video, we're going to take a look at how to create a pivot chart, which is simply a chart that is based on a pivot table. So we need to create a pivot table to start off with, and we need to put the cursor someplace in our data, and then go to our Insert tab and tell Excel we want to insert a pivot table. And it should select the range correctly, and we're going to put it on your worksheet, so just click on OK. Okay, so we need a pivot table to work with. So let's click on Department, and let's click on current salary, and it will sum the current salaries for me. And again, it doesn't remember the formatting, so I have to go in and format it myself. Okay, so this is a real simple pivot table. We've got 3 categories and 3 sums, and if I want to make it into a pivot chart, just go to my pivot table tools up here under Pivot Table Analyze, and Pivot Chart is here in the Tools group over on the right. Click on Pivot Chart. It will let us select what kind of chart we want. A column chart seems very appropriate for this, so let's go ahead and click on OK, but you can choose whatever you want to. It is almost exactly the same thing as creating a chart from ordinary data. Now click on OK, and we get this chart here that I'm going to make a little bit bigger. And we see our row labels appear at the bottom. There's a legend over here which is kind of meaningless if all the bars are the same color, so I'm just going to select that and hit the delete key and get rid of it. We need to put in our new title up here. You can click on it once, and we can just start typing on top of it. What we type will appear up here on the formula bar, so I'm going to just put total payroll by department, and it automatically assigns numbers to the vertical axis over here as well. And here's the neat thing now: if you know how to do anything with ordinary charts in Excel, you know how to do it with pivot charts. So if I don't like the color of the bars here, I can right click on one of them and I can pick a new fill color, and I can make the bars red instead of blue. If I want to change the font up here, I can go to my Home tab and I can go to the font. Let's do the font color, and so I can make the font color blue instead. If I want to make these numbers bigger, just click on them. When they're all selected, I can go up here and I can choose a bigger number. And so basically, it's exactly the same as it was with just an ordinary chart. So if you know how to do ordinary charts, you know how to format a pivot chart. Now here's one thing that's kind of neat about a pivot chart. It's based on a pivot table. So if I go back here to my pivot table, and instead of doing the sum of the current salary, if I go to Value Field Settings and choose Count and click on OK, since this table here, this chart is linked to this table over here, if I make a change in this, the change occurs over here. Now obviously I've got to change this from total payroll by department to employees per department or something like that. And I've got to go over here and do some formatting. I do not want those to be formatted with a $sign because they represent numbers. Okay, so let's right click on this over here, and I just click on it. The $sign is disabled for some reason, so let's go over here and right click, and let's tell it that we want to format the axis, and we get this format axis box over here. And it's going to be number formatting, and right now it says custom, and if we just choose general, that'll get rid of the $signs for us, and then we can close this. Now I'm going to undo that. We'll do a Control Z here to undo that formatting. Since this is based on, the chart is based on the table over here, if I just go over here to these numbers here and I get rid of the $sign here, and let's just choose general instead, the formatting changes here. So there's a couple of ways to do it, but just remember that everything you see here is based on this underlying pivot table over here on the left.